Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Alan Major Show here at Wow Wing Cafe, 711 West Malley Creek Church Road. If you're in the area, come on out and grab some dinner and join us for the next 60 minutes as we talk Charlotte 49ers basketball as the Niners get set to head up to Brooklyn, New York, leaving tomorrow for the A-10 tournament. They'll take on the University of Richmond at 12 noon this coming Thursday. That is their first-round matchup in this 2013 Atlantic 10 Basketball Championship from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. I'm Matt Swarad, joined by Lanny Ford and Niners head coach Alan Major. And, Coach, always good to see you, and we're back here again to talk about postseason basketball now. Great win, great week last week. Going on the road and winning out, beating Duquesne in overtime and taking care of business at home against St. Joe's on Saturday. So a 20-win season. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And we get to talk now some conference tournament basketball.
Yeah, I was joking with Lanny here. I hadn't even studied the bracket. I mean, I looked at when one team is playing. I can tell you that. But outside of that, I have not.
You just take it one game at a time.
What's that word the smart people say? Perused.
Yeah.
I have not looked over that thing deeply at all. I know we got one on Thursday, and I know who, and you try to focus on that. So all the prognosticators can toss the other stuff around.
Our phone number is 704-332-0173. Love to hear from you here until 8 o'clock. 704-332-0173. That bracket the coach was talking about has the Niners as the number 9 seed. That means they'll play the very first game of the tournament at 12 noon on Thursday at the Barclays Center against the number 8 seed Richmond Spiders. The winner of that game moves on to Friday. It will take on the number 1 seed, the St. Louis Billikens. But to get there, Coach, you got to beat Richmond. And talk about the matchup and what you like about this matchup. We touched on it briefly on the postgame show after the game on Saturday, but that was a loss for the Niners on the road. But if you kind of break it down, Darian Brothers had a fantastic night, one of those nights where a good player just gets hot and has a career night.
Yeah.
And we didn't shoot the ball particularly well. I know you didn't play defense the way you'd like to play.
Correct.
But if we get back to the way we can play, like against St. Joe's, I like this matchup. What about you?
Well, if we can defend like we did Saturday, at least, carry that into the tournament. You got a three-point shooting team very similar to St. Joe's. St. Joe's averaged 7 threes a game. These guys average 9, and they shoot at 38%. So if you can somehow, some way chop that leg out from their offense, now you're going to force them to try to score in transition and try to score around the rim, or in the post, in the half court. So that's what we'd like to do. Looking at that game again today, I mean, the final score, that margin was a little bit deceiving. I mean, it was a 5-point game down the stretch there, and we had some opportunities, but shot 43% from the field, which is good enough to win. But, we gave up 12 threes, which is too many, and one guy getting 39 points. Obviously, he just put him on his back. So it's a good matchup. All these matchups, you could really say that about. But for us, I think the kids are excited to maybe have another chance at a team where you didn't quite feel like you were yourselves against the first time around.
And one key going into this game, you never know how the game's going to play out, but Darian Brothers did get hurt this last weekend. He's going to play, we're told, but he has had stitches in his hand. He hurt his hand in that last game that they played on Saturday. We don't know how it's going to change them or not. They're still very talented.
Yeah.
But that is certainly something going in. Whenever a shooter is not 100% healthy,
right.
You don't wish an injury on anybody, but that has to be good news for us.
Well, unless his shooting hand got lopped off by something, I got a gut feeling he's going to be out there. He's a senior, and this is it. He's going to find a way to get on that court, with 4 days to try to manage, get it together. So, and again, not to wish any ill will on anybody either, of course. But I'd heard about that. Somebody had emailed me about some, he had some stitches. But I got a gut feeling, kids kind of the heart and soul of their team, that he'll find a way to get out there some way, somehow.
And in that first meeting, they did play without a player. Derek Williams was hurt, did not play in that game. Having him back, what does that mean for Richmond? How does that change them?
It gives them a legitimate post presence. He's the one guy that they feel like they can throw the ball into and get him a bucket, because without him, they've really been a kind of a perimeter-oriented team. So, with him back, that gives them a little confidence. You can get a guy in there with his back to the basket.
But, that's not a bad thing for us, because Saturday night, that's kind of what it was like. They really didn't have an inside presence. Occasionally they would work something inside, but they pretty much concentrated outside. We were able to put the defensive pressure on them, push that defensive perimeter a little bit further past the three-point arc, and it really caused them some trouble trying to get anything going and get anything to where they could pick up an easy shot.
Yeah, I thought we challenged, whenever you stop it on film, you're saying, is that wide open or is it a hand up? And I thought we challenged their shots pretty well. Their best post guy was that kid number 13, Roberts, who's really good. But I thought the guys did a decent job of kind of holding their ground when he would try to really, hammer that ball to get to the middle of the paint. Guys did a pretty good job holding their ground, not letting him get any leverage.
I know Tom made a point earlier. He was talking about we kind of do that jump defense where we try to do a little trap and bring a little help. For some reason, we were able to maintain that without getting behind and thinking we had to press too much on that,
right,
and not come out of our normal defense. So I thought that helped in the defensive performance as well.
It did. What you try to do once in a while is be a little bit more disruptive than normal, and really good guards. When they can maybe turn the corner on a pick and roll, and they can kind of see what they're doing, they're better as opposed to maybe seeing traffic. And, with those two guys being such good scorers, we just thought we could make them see some traffic. So, fortunately, and every time another guy shoots that a primary guy doesn't shoot, that's a good thing. If a third or fourth option or fifth option guy is taking a shot, that's one more shot that one of those other, 2 or 3 primary option guys aren't shooting. So, you try to go off percentages, too, to some degree.
Phone number for us is 704-332-0173. You're listening to the Alan Major Show here at Wild Wing Cafe University. When we look at Richmond, and Richmond is the Niners' opponent in the first round of the A-10 tournament coming up at noon this Thursday, they're 18-13, and Coach played really, really good basketball down the stretch. Lost a really tough game by 4 at Dayton, 3 games back, and almost won at VCU. That game was kind of a nail-biter to the final couple of minutes. VCU ended up winning it by 11, but then they came back and blew out Duquesne over the weekend. But they're playing pretty good basketball. They have 18 wins, 15 have been at the Robins Center, though.
Yeah.
And numbers don't lie. They've not been a very good road team. Why do you think that is?
Maybe it could be youth. Sometimes it's just confidence. If you're a shooting team, maybe a jump shooting team, which they are to some degree. Not that they don't really post it up, but Williams is kind of their primary post guy. But they get their comfort from jump shots, and a lot of times if you're at home, you can be a little bit more comfortable shooting at home. Hopefully that's the case on Thursday. A few more bricks go up that you're at a neutral site, but a lot of times that's the case. When you're in your home environment, the Robins Center's been a tough place to play. They're very, very confident home team, and we found that out ourselves. So. To me, I think that's part of it. You got Rolly Brothers is the only senior. I think Williams is a junior. Ododa and another kid, Taylor, is been a couple guys they've started, as freshmen. So, and then Anthony's a sophomore. So they got a little bit of youth in their own right.
They've also gone, I believe now, 6 games in a row scoring 72 points or more. And, when Coach Mooney first took over there for that Princeton-style offense, they weren't getting up around 70. But as he's got his players in and their style has kind of grown a little bit and evolved, here's a team that they're comfortable getting up 70, 80 points.
Yeah, absolutely. And, sometimes you think Princeton offense, you think a team is going to hold the ball for 35 seconds, and that's not always the case. And I agree with you. As he's gotten into that 6th, 7th, 8th year, I don't know if this is year 8 or 9, he's given his own guys a little bit more freedom. They still run the Princeton stuff, but they're not afraid to shoot it when they're open, as opposed to trying to just bleed that shot clock out like most people think. So sometimes you may do that if you're less talented, but the more talented you get within that Princeton stuff, the more you let those guys play.
I made a comment earlier to Matt when we were having dinner that in our defense, when we are really on defense, if we have some early success, it seems like we build some confidence. That's probably a youth thing. But if we don't, it seems like that's when we press too hard. And I thought we were able to stay in our defensive game because we had some early success defensively, pushing them to the end of a shot clock, you know, really doing some things that let you – it's kind of – you're getting some results.
Yeah, I agree. I like to use the word traction, meaning that if you can get 2-3 stops in a row, you almost feel like, you're digging your feet in and all right, you got your legs under you, that type of thing on defense. So, that's how we have to be. And then I think the good thing is we came back, and I felt like we did it again in the second half for the most part, which helped us maybe get a little separation as the game wore on.
Our phone number is 704-332-0173. You're listening to the Alan Major Show here at Wild Wing Cafe University. We're going to take a break right now. Come back. A lot more left of the show here until 8 o'clock. Our special player guest tonight is senior Colby Lewis. We had a great game against St. Joe's on Saturday, and we'll talk to Colby a little bit later on in the night. But back with Coach Major in a moment. This is the Alan Major Show from IMG College. Welcome back to the Alan Major Show here at Wild Wing Cafe University with Niner head coach Alan Major alongside Lanny Ford. I'm Matt Swarad. And the Niners getting set to go to the Atlantic 10 tournament, going to Brooklyn, New York. They'll leave tomorrow and play on Thursday at noon. Our pregame show right here on 7:30 ESPN will be at 11:30 in the morning on Thursday. If the Niners win that ball game, they'll take on the number 1 seed Billikens of St. Louis. That'll be also at noon on Friday, March the 15th. Coach, you look at a bracket, and after the brackets came out, you got to take care of business on Thursday. Then, of course, you got to march on and take care one by one to keep on moving in this tournament. But you look at the brackets, our side compared to the other side. If you had to pick a side, I know you hadn't really seen it that much, but
right.
I like our side. I mean, you got more of we've just kind of talked about how we like to muck it up a little bit, play defense, and slow things down. If there's any teams in this league that kind of play towards that style, it's in our bracket.
Yeah.
St. Louis, Butler,
yeah.
Not those teams that want to run up there and score 90 on you.
Right. No, they put the track stars on one side and the wrestlers on the other, I think is what they did. So, plus, I got to say, it's just nice to start this show with it's still light outside. That means it's a nice time of year if you're still playing and it's light out when you walk in here.
I've got an interesting note talking about that. This has been a really nice March. Niners right now 2-1 in March, and it's the first time since the 2007-2008 Niner team that has won a game in the month of March. And in that year, we had our last run in the conference tournament, winning a great game, coming from behind to beat Rhode Island in the first game, coming back the next day and knocking off UMass to get to the semifinals. So that was interesting. And that team, of course, was the last one to go on to the NIT as well, was the last 20-win team. So a lot of comparisons to that season, which was 07-08.
Yeah, no, that's interesting to know. Like I say, hopefully we can just kind of take this momentum from these last 2 games and, tell the guys tonight, we told them at practice, pack your toughness in your suitcase and hopefully keep the ball rolling.
Is another thing you should be awfully proud of right now going forward. And I think our schedule's been very competitive, and we keep hearing knocks on it, and I think they're just it's unfounded when people talk about it. The Niners are one of 38 teams in the country. There's only 38. We're one of them that has at least 7 wins against the top 100 of the RPI. That's pretty impressive.
Wow. He's got the facts today,
I don't have
right?
that kind of time.
Unbelievable.
I'm sorry.
How about this?
Baseball hadn't started.
All came from the Niners Sports Information Department.
He's like
Give them
stats.
credit.
You're like stats from Mike and Mike in the morning. You're sitting in the back. But,
there you go.
No, that's gratifying to know. Brent Stasny sends me the RPI deal every week, which I think the first time I might have looked at it was today all season. I told him sometimes, just tell me who we're playing next. I may not look at the other stuff. But we're sitting at 70 today, which is very respectable, and what that means moving forward, you don't know, but it's good to look at these accomplishments as you roll along. But the one thing when we broke practice today, we told the guys that 20 wins is turn the page. You're 0-0 now. We had a non-conference season, which is our first season. And we had a conference season, which is our second season. And now, for all practical purposes, this is our 3rd season. And, whatever this 3rd season brings us, 1 game or more, then you try to carry that into hopefully what potentially another 4th season here as you finish up. So you try to compartmentalize it for guys as best you can, but take pride in what you've done at this point, put it away. And now let's move forward and try to stay greedy.
Tell us about, and I'm still wearing mine. It's under my shirt here. The bracelets you passed out at the beginning of the season got the Niner logo on it, and on the other side of it says finish. And I looked at it this morning, and the way you guys finished the season, I mean, it couldn't have been more appropriate. because you needed to finish by winning out, and you did. You took care of business. Now you talk about the second season moving forward. But what was the mindset? What was the whole idea behind this going into the season, and what does it mean now?
Well, you hope it means more to them than just basketball, ultimately, because we passed them out last July when the whole team came back and we started kind of practicing and prepping, getting ready for the Bahamas. But the idea of finishing is, you know, all the little things that you need to do in life. You know, if it's an 8-page paper, you know, finishing means 8 pages. You know, if you got to run lines in practice, finishing is touching the line. If you got to go across town and hang out at the cancer center and you know, meet little kids, go in there and stay till the last kid rolls off, you know, back to their room and have a smile on your face the whole time, whatever finishing is. Weight room, you know, you got to do 15 reps, do 15 reps. So it's kind of funny how it all kind of shook down in last week, but we talked about that all last week through the Duquesne game, through practice, through Saturday, all the way down to the last media timeout. That's a word we used to break the huddle in the last media timeout against St. Joe's is you got the lead, and, you know, win the last 4, you know, finish the game by winning this last 4 minutes. So I hope they hang on to them long after, you know, they're done because, you know, that finishing thing I think will serve them well the rest of their lives, hopefully.
You know, one of the things, Coach,
we got to get you one, by the way.
I had one, but I'm a little bit large. It didn't last as long.
That's all right. We'll
it
get you refitted.
It didn't fit loosely on my wrist.
We'll get you refitted. I got a few more left.
But, you know, this is a team that I think you've seen all through the season that has bought into what you're selling, and that's very important to do that. The only thing that I've seen is sometimes they have lapses if they don't get enough reinforcement or success as quickly as they want. That's a youth thing.
Yes, sir.
But they really have bought into the things that you've told them about, and once they do, they found that success that you're looking for.
Well, you hope so. That's what you try to, you know, the seeds that you try to plant back in the fall. You hope they kind of sprout and grow as the year goes on. But probably the thing that's been most gratifying is that, you know, this team has kind of taken so many faces as this thing has unfolded. I mean, here we are sitting 30 games, and clearly, you know, who started didn't finish with us. But even through injuries and different lineups, and, you know, you have a guy like Terrence Williams that had his tough time there. I mean, his teammates embraced him. The kid came back into the gym countless times watching film. He's kind of fought his way back into a rhythm. Like, all those ebbs and flows of stuff that's happened, and they've just kind of stayed with it, even when it hasn't been pretty. And you know, that to me, it makes you feel good as a coach to see kids respond like that, because again,
you can go either way.
Absolutely.
When you get to those places, you can go either way.
It's just like, you know, when we talk about life, I know they get sick of me talking about it, but life's the same way. I mean, you know, you're gonna have some things happen, and it's now, you know, how you going to paint your response, and you got a choice to do that every time something happens. So I really like the way they've just stayed with it.
As we move forward now to the conference tournament, if there's one thing you're looking for with this team, is it consistency?
Yeah, I think especially on the defensive end, and then just doing a little bit better job of being patient offensively. You know, don't feel like you have to get in a rush. Which is, you know, those are kind of other signs of youth. I thought the way we started the game, you know, guys wanted to get us going so bad that we had about 4 or 5 quick shots where they wanted to get the crowd going. It's senior day, you're trying to get off to a great start. Backfired on us a little bit because it stagnated us offensively. And not a bad thing, not terrible kids for doing that. I think they just wanted to get us going. But conference tournament play usually ends up being possession basketball. 2 or 3 possession games, you know, in that last 3 or 4 minutes. So defending for the whole 40 minutes, and then just execution at those little opportune times become big in conference tournaments, especially when you get teams that know each other.
Got to take a break, but one more thing before we take this break. You know, one of the things I took from this game watching Chris Braswell play, he was in double figures again for you, but it wasn't his points that I kind of took away. It was his passing. I thought he made some fantastic passes from the high post, very unselfish.
He did. Yeah, he did. I thought he and Willie, you know, did a good job looking for each other, you know, in the post. And, no, that was good. Yeah, and again, for a kid that's had a tremendous career, one of the best players in school history, for him to go out with a win. You know, Willie Clayton was joking today. He said, I thought for a second Braz was going to cry in the locker room, but he fought it off. He didn't do it. He said, just good job, Willie. Good job. Good job. So, but happy for him. You know, to close it out like that. And obviously this character coming up here next, you know, he goes deep, you know, to the back corner of the end zone to shoot a 3 at the buzzer. So happy for him as well. He's been awesome.
And that person that Coach is talking about is Colby Lewis, and Colby's going to join us coming up on the other side of this break here from Wild Wing Cafe. This is the Allen Major Show from IMG College. Inbounds to Colby. He'll tag a 3. Got it! Oh! Colby hits the 3 at the buzzer, and it's good. The senior from Statesville finishes this one. The Niners win 52-40. Oh, there you have it. Colby Lewis hitting that 3-point basket. The Niners' only 3-point basket, as it turns out, in their win against St. Joe's. And great to see Colby finish up his home portion of this career of his on such a great note. Colby, thanks so much. Let me get that mic a little closer to you there. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. And you know, first of all, congratulations on the win and that shot and what's been a great 4 years for you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. So what'd you think when you heard that? It's probably the first time you've heard it, but take us back to the moment. You got in, Coach got you back. You started the game, and I thought played really well in the first 3 minutes. Had a good shot. It was on target. Didn't go in. But you had a chance with 2-point change, seconds left. You came back in the game, and your teammate Perrier Henry found you, and the rest is history.
Yeah, when I was checking in, actually, I was walking up the scores table, and Perrier grabbed me, and he was just like, go deep. I'm going to throw it to you. So.
But that's what usually happens when you're out there. You go deep and somebody throws it to you.
I guess.
Yeah.
Well, take us to the day, because there was a lot of emotion for you. I know you were talking about your family that was going to be coming out, you know, to watch you play. And what was it like when you got up knowing that it was going to be your last home game at Halton Arena?
It was kind of sad, to be honest. You know, these last 4 years have been great, and you know, I didn't want it to end, really. You know.
It could not have ended any better, though, for you. You got the win. You go into the conference tournament. And, you know, after the game, in the post-game media room, Perrier Henry and Denzel Ingram and Coach Major up on the podium had some really, really nice things to say about you and what you've meant to them as teammates and to this program. How does that make you feel when you know that these guys really care about you like that?
It feels great. You know, being in my senior year, I'm happy that I can, you know, have an impact on the guys. Hopefully they can learn a little bit from me. I mean, although I don't play, I can try to give them a different insight. And, you know, on the bench I see something, I might be able to tell them what they can do here or there, that they can, you know, change their game and do something differently.
Coach Major talks about you having some aspirations of maybe going into coaching. And I told him that sounds good, but I think you're just looking for a way to continue to be able to scrimmage every day and try to keep active on the basketball floor.
Well, that's the main reason.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You just like to play, but you do when you're out there. You're the type of teammate that you're looking for, regardless of where you're playing or you're not playing. You still want to contribute to the success of the team.
Yeah.
Tell us about when you first got here as a freshman. You used to have fun with this. I know you had fun with this, but how did it kind of come about? And not everybody would probably let you get away with this, but you would talk about all the points you scored in the layup line and how you'd come back after the game. I led everybody in scoring tonight. I scored X amount of points. Remember that?
Yeah. Well, see, actually, when I got to college, there was a guy named Mark Titus that played at Ohio State, and he had this thing called Club Trillion. So if you look on the stat line, if he got in and played for a minute, it would be 1 minute, but he would not shoot, not do anything. He would he would make sure he had zeros after that. And his whole thing was, I'm trying to get a trillion. Well, me, I just wanted to. I kind of just flipped it, and I was going to say, I want to get as many buckets as possible. So last year when we played St. Joe's in the conference tournament, we got there like an hour and 45, 2 hours before the game. Longest warm-up ever. I scored 404 points in warm-ups. Career night.
But no dunks, huh?
I don't dunk. Threes are worth more anyways.
But you are.
Why go inside the arc?
But when you leave the floor, you always make sure that you're the one that takes the last shot.
Oh yeah.
Always. You'll go hunt a basketball down to take the last shot.
Oh, absolutely. See, I think Coach Major might get mad, or maybe some coaches would. You know, at the end of the game, if we're up by 20, down by 20, whatever it is, I'm gonna try to score. I remember it was last year against Temple. We were getting beat pretty bad. I hit a three. There was 7 seconds left. I fouled the other team. The game was already over, but I wanted to get another shot up. So.
Well, that's okay because you do the little things in practice every day to help make these guys better. That was your time to shine. You're going to make the most of it, right?
Absolutely.
But there's nobody on the team when you watch it just like it was on Saturday night. When you're in there, they understand the importance of trying to give you an opportunity because of what you do for them when you're not in there. And I think that says a lot about you and the teammates that you have here on this team.
Yeah, it's crazy. They always look for me, and it makes me feel good. It's like they want to, if I can help them out in any way possible, they do the same.
We're talking with Niners senior Colby Lewis, who's from Statesville, North Carolina. His brother is a freshman at NC State. You guys are very close. You talk an awful lot. What did you guys talk about after this past weekend?
He just told me he was proud of me. I know he always is, and I'm always proud of him. So I know sometimes we talk ball, and other times we just, talk, goof around. But mainly, I love that kid to death, and it was just happy. He just told me he was happy to see me go out the way I did.
You do have aspirations to be a coach, and I think you're going to be one of the GAs with us next year. You're still working on your MBA. Tell us what was going through your mind and what you were doing to try and help. A couple of weeks ago, I saw coming out of halftime at St. Bonaventure, before the Niners turned things around, we were getting beat up there, and you were talking with Willie Clayton, had your arm around Willie and trying to build him back up. And we always hear about you doing things on the sideline, trying to help these young guys and give them your experience. What was that like, and what was this last week like for you? Because the emotions must have been going from the lows of that game to the highs of winning 2 in a row and getting through the season, winning 20 games and moving on to the A-10 tournament. What was all that like?
Emotions were just riding. It was crazy. Really, to be honest, the pressure was on, and we had to win these 2 games to get in. We had to secure a bid, and a lot of times, that's what you live for. That's what not live for, but as a basketball player, that's what you want. You want to be able to prove yourself. We knew if we won on Wednesday, and say if Dayton and GW both would have lost, it wouldn't have mattered what we did on Saturday. But we could have came out and lost and still got in. Possibly, both of them went 0-1. If one of them went 0-2, but then again, that wouldn't be like the way to go in. We actually had to go out there and show what we were made of, and we had to prove ourselves.
So, what do you think going forward now in the tournament? You get Richmond in the first round. What are your thoughts? Put your coaching hat on. What are your thoughts about Richmond?
Richmond, we just have to defend. We played great D against St. Joe's. I think we got to do the same thing. We got to replicate that. We got to limit their threes and their touches and their looks from there. Make sure our guys, we can't gamble, because a lot of times we gamble and we get beat, and it causes guys to have to rotate and scramble, and then that makes it easier for other guys to get in the lane and find people. And Richmond's really good at driving and kicking and finding the right guys.
What does it mean for you and the whole team, but you in particular, and guys like Chris Braswell that have been here 4 years but have not played in the conference tournament at the tournament site? This, the A-10 recent years have had the first-round games on campus sites, so you've been in a couple of times, but you've not gone to the actual, tournament setting. What's that mean to get to participate with everybody and go to Brooklyn?
It's awesome. I remember my freshman year we lost at home, and then last year we lost at St. Joe's. And almost to be honest, it almost makes it feel like you're not part of the tournament. It's just like a play-in game almost. So now it kind of makes it feel real that you're actually there.
Well, not only are you there, we're going to tip off this whole thing with the first game at noon on Thursday. What do you think about that first game? Getting that first game, you like it?
I like it. Yeah. I mean, we can set the tone and make a statement right then from the get-go.
Well, Colby, great 4 years. It's been fun watching you. And I get to do it, moving forward when you join the staff after this. But go out there, have a great tournament this weekend. Enjoy it this week, I should say. Hopefully through the weekend. Enjoy it, and we'll see you down the road.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Colby Lewis has been our guest, Niners senior from Statesville, North Carolina. Niners winning against St. Joe's on Saturday, finishing it off 52-40 and getting that last bucket of 3 at the buzzer by Colby to close that one out. We're back with more with Coach Alan Major. The Alan Major Show continues from IMG College. Welcome back to the Alan Major Show. The Niners getting set to head to the conference tournament. They'll take on Richmond at 12 noon on Thursday. Open the phone lines once again. Our phone number is 704-332-0173. 704-332-0173. Niners finishing the regular season 20-10 and 8-8 in league play. Also winning 12 games, going 12-3 at Halton Arena. And the 12 wins ties the most in one season in Halton history. It's the third time they've done it. And the building's been around now for 17 years. Doesn't seem like it's been that long already. But, Coach, 12 home wins, that's fantastic.
Yeah, stats is rolling tonight. He's got 1 million of them. But, no, that's another one I wasn't aware of. I tell you, this doesn't really register right now, as you're thinking about it. But what we'll do with this at some point in the spring is try to turn it into some recruiting material. Get it out to kids, that we're, hot and heavy on, and just try to get them to understand, that we're trying to continue to build. And when we first got here, you could say rebuilding, but it's like a lot of times, if you're building something, it's a place that hasn't been there before. And, this is more likened to trying to rebuild the space shuttle. I mean, Charlotte's basketball's been in orbit in the past, and then all we're trying to do is get take it back to where it belongs. And so, but no, that's good to know. You'd like to have that become a staple where you play well at home.
Go to the phones, and again, phone number 704-332-0173. Our first phone call is coming from Tommy. Tommy, how you doing? Welcome to the Alan Major Show.
I'm doing fine, guys. How y'all doing?
Good.
Doing well, Tommy. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I was just I listened to both games on the radio and want to congratulate the players and the coaching staff for winning those 2 games. And I was a little worried Wednesday when you got behind by 17. I was just sitting here on my front porch saying, "Oh no, they've quit on us," but they didn't.
No, they didn't. Yeah, they hung in there. I almost wanted to trade places with you. You come stand on the sideline, and I sit on your porch. At that point
I was just sitting out here drinking me a beer, listening to the game, and I said, they started coming back. I think that was a game you pressured a lot. And
yes, sir.
Probably got some turnovers and come back and tied it up. And I think Ivan hit a 3 in regulation and hit another 3 in overtime that were big.
Yes. Yes, he
and
did.
I noticed in the St. Joe game, it seemed like he didn't get into the game until about the 11-minute mark of both the first and the second half. And just want to know if that was kind of planned or what. And I noticed in the box score, I do look at those sometimes. He got 17 minutes, but he only got 3 shots up, and he missed all 3 of them. So
yeah, they did a good job. I'll give St. Joe's credit. And thanks for calling, Tommy, by the way. When you're a freshman and you got a reputation like him of being able to shoot the ball, usually by the end of the year, the word gets out. People start to scout you and they know about you. And, so I think I'll give St. Joe's a little bit of credit. They just did a good job of getting to him quickly. And, for guys like Ivan that goes game to game, the best improvement he's made that excites me the most is defensively. Is he a defensive stopper, a shutdown guy? No, but he's getting better at guarding guys and just holding his own. And, St. Joe's had a team of drivers. Those 3 guards, always putting the ball on the floor. So sometimes in the game it's not so much that the kid does anything wrong or that he's not ready to go into the game. It's about who he guards. And you have to – Ivan's still at a point where we manage his matchup as to who he'll guard. So – but I love the way he's improved. I think he's just going to be a terrific shooter. He'll be one of the best shooters to ever play here, I think, by the time it's all said and done.
Yeah, I didn't get to see but about 3 games this year, but when he did get in the game, I really like his shot. And he's got the height to get his shot off if he just gets a little bit of room.
Yes, he does.
That shot off.
And Tommy, here's the other thing about him. He's got great confidence. The thing I like about Ivan is that if he misses, it's the ball's fault.
Yep. Yep.
It can't be him. In his mindset, it's the rim's messed up. They click the lights off when I let it go. anything but him. So that's great confidence that you want shooters to have. If they miss 2 in a row, they feel like they can come back and make the next 4 in a row.
You know, the worst thing a shooter can do is if he misses 2 or 3 and he gets wide open, he doesn't shoot it, then he's done for that game.
Absolutely. No, and that's definitely not him. So I'm really proud of him. He's growing up by the day.
All right, well, I'll be listening in on Thursday, so good luck to you and the team.
Thank you, Tommy. Appreciate your support, buddy. Go Niners.
Go Niners.
All right, Tommy, thank you. Our phone number is 704-332-0173. Coach, we hadn't talked about it yet, but let's talk about Perrier Henry. He was just today named the co-player of the week this week in the Atlantic 10. And he was a Rookie of the Week a couple of times last season as a freshman. He's the first Niner, though, to be named Player of the Week since Javaris Barnett back in January of 2011. Talk about his week. Back-to-back double-doubles. And for the week, he averaged 15 points, 10.5 rebounds.
Yeah.
And also 3 assists and 2.5 steals per game. Those are pretty solid numbers.
Yeah, P is he's a stat sheet filler. You know, you look at some of his best games, even some of those games in Alaska. You know, he's got a number in every category as you scan across that page. And, you know, you remember the championship game out there. He went 0 for 3 and got named MVP.
Yeah.
So he just finds a way to impact the game without scoring. And then when he scores, you know, he just kind of enhances everything else. But I love the way he's rebounding the ball lately, and he's growing as a leader. He's becoming more vocal. You know, we've given him a little bit more responsibility to become vocal too.
That was something I was going to mention, that even though he's young, by playing age, he's very mature out on the court because he has taken and accepted that leadership role.
Yeah.
And you can see it in the ways the other guys that will follow and how he wants to make everybody else as successful.
Yeah, he's got such a – I went to first watch him play up in Charleston, West Virginia, and I'll never forget it. It was a teammate of his that had missed 3 shots in a row, and the ball gets knocked out of bounds. It's a side out of bounds here, and I'm sitting here, and, you know, P's mom is sitting right there. You know, the ball gets knocked out of bounds, and literally it's not even 10 feet away. He walks right over to the kid that had just missed 3 shots in a row, and he is clapping, and he tells the kid, taps him and says, hey, you keep shooting. You keep shooting. And, you know, when you see that, you know, it wasn't about, hey, get me the ball because you missed 3 in a row. Some guys do that. You know, here he is giving this unbelievable level of encouragement to a kid that's clearly not as talented as him. But he's trying to uplift a teammate. So that's him at his finest.
And again, Perrier Henry named the co-player of the week this week in the Atlantic 10 Conference. You're listening to the Alan Major Show here at Wild Wing Cafe University. We're going to take a break, back with a lot more here until 8 o'clock. It's from IMG College. Welcome back to the Alan Major Show. There's about 12 minutes left of the show, and our phone number is 704-332-0173, 704-332-0173. The Niners play on Thursday at 12 noon. They will get the tournament started, the A-10 Championship at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. Brand new building opened up, the home of the Brooklyn Nets now. And the Niners will take on, as the number 9 seed, the 8 seed Richmond Spiders at 12 noon on Thursday. And then the winner of that game will take on the number 1 seed St. Louis at 12 noon on Friday. We haven't mentioned the other first-round games, though. Again, the Niners get things started at noon. And then at 2:30, number 5 Butler takes on number 12 Dayton. And then in the night session at 6:30, number 7 Xavier against number 10 St. Joe's. And they finish the night at 9 o'clock, the number 6 Massachusetts Minutemen against number 11 George Washington. That is the first day of the A-10 tournament, and all those games can be seen on television on the NBC Sports Network. So our airtime on the pregame show on Thursday is 11:30 in the morning here on ESPN 730 and CharlotteFortiners.com, and then we'll tip it off at 12 noon. Should be an interesting day, though, that first round of the A-10 tournament, Coach.
Yeah, absolutely. You got some matchups there. Obviously, everybody's seen everybody's face at this point, but Butler played Dayton way back early in the year. That's when Rodney Clark took that nasty spill. I don't know if you guys remember.
He hurt his neck at the
was
basket
out for
standard.
a few days. Yeah. So, I still remember Archie Miller text Thad Mata after the game and talked about the physicality of Butler. That's the first time he had competed against him. And he said, Thad, I got butlered. That's the way he said, just dealing with the Butler's physical play. But this league has been all year long. Anything can happen. So I would think this tournament, especially in the one-shot setting, would be no less.
We talked about it because we were making projections before the game started about making it in, and it tells you about the league when you see that if you won, you're 9.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't win, you're not in. So
Right.
there's a whole nother 4 chunk under you.
Right.
So it tells you how tight that conference was inside. You had like the
Yeah.
top 3 and the bottom 3, and everybody else was just flip a coin.
I'm telling you, it's amazing. Here's St. Joe's. They were picked to win it.
Mhm.
Back in media day, back in October. I mean, they picked to win the league, and they end up with an 8-8 record. So it just goes to show you the parity level was really something. I haven't really checked. You guys may know this. Where the A-10 stands as far as conference power.
Yeah, the rank is number 7.
Seven.
Of all
Wow.
those. So you got the Power 6, and then we're at number 7. Now I was
Yeah.
going to ask you, kind of leading from there, you've coached at Ohio State in the Big Ten now. You've been in this league before when you were at Xavier. You've been in other leagues. Coming into the season, there was a lot of talk about the A-10, how good they could possibly be, plus with the addition of Butler and VCU. As we've now reached the end of the regular season, heading to Brooklyn, has the league lived up, in your mind, to what was thought of going into the season?
Without a doubt. Yeah, I think a lot of people felt this way before Butler and VCU even got put into the league. People thought it was going to be pretty deep with just 14. And then, when you add those two teams into this crowd that we already had, it just really added for some compelling matchups, and then just the parity, it just added to the depth even more. So I think it is. I don't know how other coaches in the league would feel, but based on back in October and what everybody felt, I would agree with that.
How is the league different now than when you were at Xavier?
It was a handful of games, not many, but there was just a handful of games where you felt like if you showed up and you didn't beat yourself, whether you're at home or on the road, that you would win them. And in this league, literally every game, as we found out last Wednesday, a team like Duquesne with nothing to lose, chance to play spoiler. I don't know how well they played game to game all season long, but that had to be maybe one of their top 5 performances all season in terms of just the level that they played at. I mean, they were tremendous. So I think that part is different. I couldn't say that about one game this year in this conference, not just us, but anybody on anybody's schedule.
It was really funny going into our game against St. Joe's on Saturday. Once we found out that Dayton had lost against George Washington, we knew we had to win to get in. But at that time, Dayton's saying, okay, go St. Joe's. They needed the Hawks to win to get in the tournament. But then in the span of about 45 minutes, there was the upset up in Olean where St. Bonaventure lost to Fordham at home.
Right.
And as good as they were playing just a week earlier,
Right.
now Dayton is in, and St. Bonaventure is saying, okay, go St. Joe's. So we knocked St. Bonaventure out.
Right.
Really a crazy, wild day for a lot of teams this league.
Yeah. I mean, there's a few of our managers, I think they were huddled around a computer screen or something, and when the Dayton result came up, guys, I'm walking to go work out right before the game. You see some slumped shoulders. Guys are like, but we told the guys after the game, getting back to the life stuff again. I know I'm wearing it out, but take care of it yourself. Don't count on anybody to do anything for you. Don't count on anybody to handle things for you. Take care of it yourself. And the best way to take care of it yourself is to be exactly who you are. And that is why we, I think had some success the last week because at least for the second half of Duquesne, we were ourselves in terms of having fight. We weren't ourselves maybe in terms of our defense the way, it's a high-scoring game, but having fight. And then Saturday I thought we were ourselves from a defensive standpoint. So I think that's, probably one of the biggest reasons why we were able to hang in there.
And hang in they did, and now move on to the A-10 tournament coming up this Thursday in Brooklyn. We'll come back and touch on that with more to come. We'll finish up the show in a moment. This is the Allen Majors Show from IMG College. Welcome back to the Allen Majors Show. Got a few minutes left before we wrap it up here today and head to the conference tournament. Traveling tomorrow, playing on Thursday at 12 noon against the number 8 seed Richmond Spiders. Spiders 18-13. They also finished 8-8 in the conference. The Niners, the number 9 seed, 20-10, and 8-8 in the Atlantic 10. Before we run out of time, I wanted us to take a moment here to thank the management, and the wait staff here at Wild Wing Cafe by the University 711 West Malley Creek Church Road for hosting us again this season. It's been a good year, and I really appreciate everything they've done.
Yeah, no, they're great. They're great. I usually get a little carry out, so you guys make me hungry. Man, about all the questions up here. I'm usually hungry by the time we leave. So thank goodness for the wings and the salads.
Well, I've done my part, Coach, this week. Last week I had the chicken sandwich and sweet tea. We went 2-0. I came back today. I'm wearing the same shirt, I believe. My memory's not great, but
right.
I think I'm wearing the same shirt as last Monday, and had the same thing for dinner. So I told Colby Lewis earlier that I've done my part. Now it's up to you guys on Thursday.
Well, I parked in the same parking spot, so I don't know what the heck you did, Lanny. But
I can't remember what I did
pressure's
yesterday,
on.
so don't even go there. Don't even go there.
Tell us what we got to do against Richmond.
I think just really defend that three-point line. That's such a huge part of what they do. Not that they can't score in other ways, but that's a big part of their confidence. And if you can take a team's confidence away, especially in neutral site situations, and that rim gets a little smaller because it's an unfamiliar environment. And usually neutral sites and tournament play comes down to easy baskets. So we like to defend them, take away that three-point line, turn that into some open court stuff. And then offensively, we just got to make them work. They play a unique defense. So we got to change sides of the floor and a mix of cutting and driving and just, make those guys react to what we're doing. And get on the glass, get a couple of putbacks hopefully as well.
Was Saturday an indication of this team? You're in tournament play now. Matt and I talked about it. Saturday was really the first round of the tournament.
Playing game.
It was play or go home.
No question.
Do you think that that's something that this team will respond well to and take it to another level?
Well, it's one of the reasons why we scheduled Alaska, to be quite honest, because if you can schedule those, tournaments where you got to play again, you get used to quick prep, you get used to how to rest, you get used to short segments of film and how you got to prep for a team that you either know or don't know. And so we thought, if we could do something like that in the fall, and then you're fortunate enough to get, in a tournament setting like this, that you can say, all right, even with the young guys, you can say, hey, you've been here before. You've played 3 games in 3 days, and now, hopefully we have a chance to play 4. But just from a format standpoint, you hope there's a little that breeds a little familiarity.
Thinking about, we got 1 minute left of the show. Going back to Alaska, we won those 3 games in 3 days. I don't.
That feels like 3 years ago.
It does. I don't think assistant coach Orlando Vandross slept a wink those 3 days, and I think Stephen Down was his roommate, so he didn't sleep either up there.
Right, that's right. No, that was a great trip. You hope that the success off of that from a tournament setting will feed into this weekend.
Coach, good luck this week.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Coach, we really enjoyed it. And, big week this week for the 49ers in the ATN tournament. And who knows what's to come after that. Take it a game at a time. The Allen Major Show is a production of IMG College. Thanks for being here for Matt Squarehead. Coach Allen Major, I'm Lanny Ford. Have a good evening, everybody. Good night.